Hello, beautiful Perception Traders people. So today I want to come to you with this short video because I know that some of you don't want to watch all the long ones, and that's okay. I totally understand. But I want to come to you with this short video to just drive home a point that I think is really, really important for all of us right now as we try to level up our consciousness and move to a new way of being. And that is this. You, as a human being, do not have a monetary value. Okay, so we are living in a world right now that is driving very, very hard towards this idea that the human life is to be monetized, especially now with social media and the way that products are sold and the things that have become products, such as people's lives literally have become a product. Your attention has become a product. Your eyeballs are a product. Like I say, your life, your experience, you sharing your thing, all of these things are now being monetized. Human beings are being monetized for just sharing what they are and what they do in the day and what products they like and all these things. And I want you to understand that we got here naturally, okay? Because from the very beginning, when human beings were out in the wild, before we had technology, before we had all these things, for almost all of human history, survival was working in a group to contribute what you could contribute to the group so that the group would have a chance at survival. Okay, so this idea that you are what you produce and what you give to culture, what you give to society, didn't start anytime recently. Okay, that started because for a very, very, very long time, what the tribe could do for the tribe was the difference between the tribe surviving and the tribe not surviving. And so, of course, the people that could do more for the tribe, that had strength, that had power, that had capacities beyond everyone else, were going to have the most access to the resources to help them survive because they had the power. Yeah, they were either valued by the society more, or they were literally stronger, fitter, faster, and could commandeer those resources for themselves over and above everyone else. And so this idea of us prioritizing people and valuing people and sizing us all up, and you deserve something and you don't, and you have way more than you, right? The billionaires that exist right now, again, this system is ancient. It has always been this way with humans. Because again, in order to survive, we needed to work the fields, we needed to work the environment, we needed to build homes, we needed to be able to defend ourselves, we had to hunt, we had to do all these things. And human beings have never been equal in their capacity to survive, in their capacity to do what was necessary to keep the tribe alive. Yes? So this idea, again, that we value one another differently based on what you now provide for the culture and what the culture now values is normal. That's how humans have always been. And so now we live in a culture that, because we've taken ourselves out of the food chain, yeah, we're striving towards deeper connection. We're striving towards, right, that Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We're no longer so worried about the physical needs, especially in the westernized countries that are infrastructure and sanitation and medicine and are out of the food chain, right? We're working towards more and more connection. We want more and more interaction. And so this is what we're starting to value in our culture now. The people that have the most money are the ones that keep us connected and that are selling themselves and their lives and their honesty and their vulnerability and also products, right? That's still, entertainment is still a huge thing, and right, the people who invented the internet, the people that ship us things, you know who I'm talking about, convenience, these are the things we value. And so they have their higher share of the resources because that's how this capitalist society works. And so what I want you to understand is that Just because that's how culture and society works doesn't mean that that's how you have to see yourself. And you can go beyond this idea that, because again, remember what this is founded in. All the abundance teachings and us trying to reach for our highest potential, and this idea that your highest potential should be that you are productive all the time, that you're producing something, that you're contributing something to society, that you're making something, you're doing something, you're busy all the time. And just think about that for a second, right? What we have deemed as success, even in the spiritual world, in the self-help world, this you being on purpose, you having your purpose and you knowing who you are is going to lead to you being always inspired and able to show up in your bigness, and you're going to be productive and you're going to be great all the time, and you're never going to be tired, and you're going to be able to work, and then what that leads to is then you're going to be a really good consumer. Because if you're being productive all the time and you're being inspired all the time and you're working your purpose and you're doing your thing, you then don't have time to cook for yourself or clean for yourself, and you buy the giant house and you buy the big cars and you do all these things. You need that company that ships things all over the world and has a monopoly on that. You need that coffee company. You need that fast food chain. You need these clothes and this status and this look. You see, it's a wheel that feeds itself, and it does make us batteries. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a purpose and a job that you love that makes you money. That may or may not be you living your highest potential. That may or may not. So you living your potential may or may not look like your vocation, and that which makes you money is the same thing that you're passionate about and that really interests you. You living your purpose may or may not look like financial abundance. But that doesn't actually determine your value. Okay, that, yes, determines your value in society that views everyone and everything as a commodity. Something that's either helping me survive and get my needs met or not. And I think that if we really tune into ourselves and start to love our own selves so that we can take ourselves out of this mindset, because most of us, like I say, even in the spiritual world, have been sold this idea so thoroughly that we don't see it. We've spiritualized it, that being rich is spiritual, because then you'll have the money instead of the evil corporations, and then you can decide where that money should go and who it should go to, and you will be the benevolent leader. And I can say, if we look throughout history, that's never happened. We don't need a benevolent leader. We need decentralization of power. We need decentralization of resources. And it's going to take people like us who are in the middle. We're not the billionaires, but we're not struggling to make ends meet. We have found a relative level of comfort in our lives. This is the work for you to do, to take yourself out of this system, to find your level of enough and then not go beyond it. And I know that this is crazy talk, because it sounds like, what? If I'm not being constantly productive, if I'm not going for more, if I'm not going harder, if I'm not pushing myself, I'm not living my potential. I'm not living up to my potential. And I'm saying your potential has nothing to do with how productive you are for the system. And I don't even care if that thing that you produce is spiritual material and coaching and loving people and volunteering and all these things. You're still a human. And you would be doing better for all of humans if you were less productive, and therefore you could spend more time caring for yourself and not having to be a consumer of excess goods. Because that is a big part of capitalism right now that's destroying us, destroying the planet, and that requires that we have slave labor for goods to be made cheaper than they actually should be, so that we can overconsume. Right? The idea that we are buying more clothes than we need, more food than we need, more house than we need, more cars than we need. When we go beyond that which is just enough, we necessitate that someone else doesn't have enough because we live in a finite planet. No, it is not possible for everyone to be abundant in the Western sense. We don't have enough room on the planet for everyone to have a house like that, for everyone to have that many cars, for everyone to eat like that, to shop like that. It's not possible. It hurts you, it hurts the planet, and it hurts other humans. And we're blind to it because we don't see the sweatshops that made it so that that t-shirt you bought could be $15 instead of $50. We don't see the people in Central and South America who are making $1 a day so you can have that $2 coffee instead of the $60 coffee, what it should be. You see, we don't see it, we're disconnected. And we're so busy and caught up into this thing of, yeah, but I got to be productive all the time. Which means we have to sacrifice looking into these things. We have to sacrifice being able to cook our own food, to clean our own homes. We sacrifice being able to say, I'm not going to be on trend because there's nothing wrong with the clothes that I bought 10 years ago. I'm not going to have the latest phone. I'm not going to have the latest computer. I'm not going to have the next thing because I have enough. This is enough. We've become over consumers. And that is because we all believe that the point of us is productivity. And when we live like that, it causes us to sacrifice our humanity. We don't feel the chaos that we are contributing to as we do this. And so this is none of our faults. But it's us in the middle. You do not have a monetary value. Your life is not to be lived for how productive you can be, how much you can contribute to our over-consuming culture. That's not the point of view. Yes, we need to make money. Yes, we have to have a job. Yes, we have to be productive on some level. But most of us can find that. And we can get to enough where we're comfortable. We can pay our rent, we can pay our food, we can save a little for the future, we can be comfortable, we can travel a little, we can have a car, we can do this. But then we don't need to keep going. We don't need to keep amassing wealth. We don't need to keep pushing harder past that point. Because at that point, we actually become poisonous to ourselves and to everyone else. Like I said, we're either then continuing with this structure that we say we don't like. We don't want billionaires who have all the resources and all the money and so much power and control because of that. So then why are you striving to become like them? Because again, nobody is going to be the benevolent savior that gets us out of this. No one is going to be the money that's in the right hands. That's not how it's going to work. It's going to take those of us who have the power to keep going to choose not to, so that more can be placed in the hands of people who actually need it to get out of poverty, need it to get out of where they're at. And it's not about us deciding for them what they should and should not do and should not have and what is good for society. We need decentralization of power so that people can make choices for themselves. And if they make chaotic choices, they have less power and control over people. So therefore, their chaotic choices affect less people. We need to be able to, again, make an equitable society. Because not everyone is ever, we're never going to get to a place where it's actually true that anyone can become self-sufficient. It's not true. We're not equal. There will always be humans who are just not going to have what it takes to survive. So we either need to say, okay, we let those people die, and just the productive people get to do it, or we say we're not going to value people like that anymore. We're going to value all life as being valuable. And therefore, we don't hoard and take more than we need, so we can decide who and who isn't valuable. But we resource the people who are less resourced. And this is complicated, so I'm not going to get into that right now. What I'm going to say is just for you. Work to find your enough within yourself. Work to disengage from this system that tells you you are what you produce, and that more production is always better, that more contribution is always better, that it's a good thing that you don't have time to cook or clean, and that your house is giant and all these things, that's actually benevolent. It's not. It's killing you, and it's killing the planet. You are worthy of having a life where you have enough, and then you can enjoy the rest of your time. That you can have the rest of you are doing everyone a favor. Literally, you are making this planet a better planet to be on. When you work enough to have enough, and then the rest of your time is leisure time, and happy time, and chop wood, carry water time, and be with your family time, and simple time, stuff you're not going to put on social media. Just shooting the breeze. A time when you're not producing or consuming. You're being. Because the more you do that, the more you check out of this hyper consumerist culture, the more we are going to become aware of the things that we purchase and the actual cost, the human life cost, the environmental cost, and we will stop being so susceptible to buying those things. And the more of us that check out of that system, the less that system can function. And then we call for a new system. We start to make the new system. So you taking yourself out of this idea that you are a monetizable thing, and that's it, that's what you are, is how we transition to the new world we want. Because then you're going to have time for all the things that make it so that you stop being an overconsumer, and then we stop having this imbalance, and then more and more of us become awake and aware, these businesses start to fail, and then we can start to build something new. So, and like I say, it's destroying you. It doesn't feel good for you to have to be on all the time. It doesn't feel good for you to think that if your purpose doesn't equal money, that you're failing. No, you're a human. You might just work a job that you like for the rest of your life. That's not your purpose, that's not your passion, but it gives you enough so you can live a good life. That is perfectly acceptable. And there's nothing wrong with you if that's what your life is. If you're never abundant, if you're never wealthy, if your thing never blows up, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. You are not here to be monetized. There is so much more to you than what you give to the system for us to survive or to have entertainment and connection. So please, demonetize yourself. I've put a link to an article that I've written about this in the description below. Watch my IGTVs. Keep watching these videos. Come join the mystery school. We're talking all about this stuff. We gotta deprogram ourselves. And this is a big one. Okay, so you do not have a monetary value. You are not here to become more productive. There is so much more to you than your work and your production and what you give society. Please value yourself. Find your enough. That's what this is all about. You are enough. And it can be enough to just be enough. There is enough for all of us to have enough. There is not enough for all of us to overconsume. Okay? I love you. Have a good week.